Aging and disease are biochemical processes that happen over many decades. And if we track and optimize well-established biomarkers of organ and systemic health, can aging and disease risk be slowed? So my apologies if I've said that a million times, but that's a central premise of this channel. And with that in mind, earlier this month, I blood tested for the second time in 2023. So what's my biological age? So this is that data, and this is for a March 6th, 2023 blood test. And these data are using Dr. Morgan Levine's phenotypic age calculator as a metric of biological age. And if you're interested in measuring your own biological age using Levine's metric phenoage, that link will be in the video's description. So when entering these data, we can see that my biological age is 32.8 years, which is 17.3 years younger than my chronological. Now, note that for the 9th consecutive test, Quest's high sensitivity C-reactive protein measurement was less than 0.3 milligrams per liter. So CRP could be lower than 0.3 milligrams per liter, but not higher, which would lead to a lower biological age using Levine's test. And besides looking at data from an Excel spreadsheet, if you're interested in screenshots of the blood test report, all of that data will be included later in the video. Now, note that this is just one test. For more context, let's have a look at biological age results since 2018, and I have 24 blood tests over that period, as shown here. So from 2018 to 2019, I tested 3 times with an average Levine phenoage of 36.1 years. From 2020 to 2021, over 12 tests, I averaged 35.6 years. Over 7 tests in 2022, the Levine's phenoage was 33.8 years, and thus far in 2023, the first test was 33 years, and the second was 32.8 as shown there. Now, why that most recent test is important is because I supplemented with NMN for the majority of the 42-day period that corresponded from the first blood test until the second blood test. And my average NMN intake during that period was 340 milligrams per day. Now, maybe that may not seem like it's enough. So for 1 week prior to this test, for 7 consecutive days prior to this test, I supplemented with 1,000 milligrams of NMN per day. And as we can see, there wasn't a major impact on my Levine's phenoage or biological age. So that suggests that there was no effect for NMN. And in support of that, note that I've had values at least as low as 32.8 4 times since 2021. Now, this is one metric that I use to calculate biological age. Another is aging.ai. So what's my aging.ai age? So aging.ai includes 19 biomarkers, and when entering the data for these 19 biomarkers, I get a predicted age of 27 years. So, and note that that's 23.1 years younger than my chronological. So just like we did for Levine's test, for more context, let's have a look at previous data using aging.ai age. And that's what we can see here. This is data from 2009 to 2023, and I have 39 blood tests that correspond to aging.ai age over that time span. Now, when I first started measuring over 3 tests from 2009 to 2013, my average aging.ai age was 32 years. So then I had the idea, are 3 tests over 5 years representative? So I decided to start testing more often. And in 2016, starting in 2016 through 2022, I tested 34 times with an average aging.ai age of 29.9 years. All right, so what about in 2023? So the first test was 28, and the second test, most recently, was 27. Now, that also suggests, because 27 is pretty close to 28, that there was no major effect for NMN on aging.ai age. And in support of that, I've also had values as low as 27 or even 26 4 times since 2016. So that would suggest that I may not need NMN for either Levine's biological age or aging.ai in order to further improve them. So the story is not completely closed, though, on NMN, because I also sent blood out for epigenetic analysis on the same day that I got these blood test data done. So it's possible that NMN supplementation affected epigenetic age, and I don't yet have those results. I expect to have them sometime later this month, so expect a video at the end of March, early April. Now, at this point in the video, I then ask what may be contributing to these biological age reductions, including diet and/or supplements, and supplements besides NMN, of course, and I'll cover that in a future video, probably in a week from today. But let's dig into the full blood test report, as there are some interesting insights that I'd like to go through. And the first is homocysteine. And we can see that at 11.1, and I have other videos on homocysteine, that it increases during aging, so the 11.1 is going in the wrong direction. So with that in mind, as soon as I got these results, I started serine plus vitamin B6 supplementation on March 11th of 2023. 2 grams of serine per day and 5 milligrams per day of vitamin B6, which is more than double my current B6 intake. So in a future video, we'll see if that's able to reduce homocysteine. Also note that a major weakness in my data is DHEA sulfate, so there was no major bump there. It's at 129, still in the 120s despite NMN and despite the hypothesis that having or potentially having higher NAD would impact DHEA sulfate, and I'll have more on that in the next video. So by looking at serine or using serine plus B6 supplementation, I've got a hypothesis, a mechanistic-driven hypothesis that I'll cover in a future video, that I may not only be able to reduce homocysteine, but potentially increase DHEA sulfate. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested, that will be in a future video. All right, so then for page 2 of the blood test report, and then last but not least, if you're interested in more about my attempts to biohack aging, check us out on Patreon. And before you go, we've got a whole bunch of discount links and merch that you may be interested in, including discount links for NAD quantification, green tea, epigenetic testing, oral microbiome composition, at-home blood testing, diet tracking, or if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that with the website Buy Me a Coffee. And all of these discount links will be in the video's description, as will the link for merch, which you can see here. So if you want to wear the Conquer Aging or Diet Trying brand, that link will be in the video's description. Thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Have a great day.